Well, good afternoon, everybody, or morning, or wherever you are in YouTube land. So this will be a video series on what we do on how to retrofit the Predator generator into a Rialta. So what we'll do today is we will start by taking apart the generator's components in its casings and see where we are. So stay tuned, follow us on my Facebook or in YouTube channel. And let's see what we can do about turning our Rialta brand new again. All right. This Predator, which was purchased at Harbor Freight, you can usually get these around $600 to $700, depending on where you are in the country. But these are a direct comparison to a Honda generator. Because of how quiet they are. As a matter of fact, we'll show you how quiet they are just by starting it up here. And you can see right now, I mean, I'm actually over here right by the exhaust, and it's not very loud at all. As a matter of fact, this is my regular voice. I'm not really speaking louder than I should. So the reason why we're taking apart this great running generator is because we would like to place it in a Rialta RV. And if you know anything about these RVs, you'll know that they have the Onan generators, normally the KVC, and which were very, very loud and a little underpowered. For the Rialta, when you run the hot water heater, you have to run that alone. Actually, there's a note when I first got this RV that says do not run the hot water heater on generator. Of course, the air conditioner takes a lot of power, and most importantly, the microwave if you use the microwave. So there is a lot of power that is generated, especially in more modern times with electronics and everything else that need more power. So a Predator 3500. Is really what we wanted to do in this situation, because it has a peak of 3,500 powers and running watts of around 3,000. So we're nearly doubling the amount of watts that we have. But you obviously can't just stick this in the square of the Rialta. Now, before we get started, one of the things I wanted to talk about with this Predator generator is obviously we're taking it apart, and if you know anything about anything, especially generators in this situation, you will be voiding the warranty, the factory warranty with this, which I don't mind. I mean, $600 is expensive, you know, for a lot of people, but it's also, when you think about a generator, it costs $3,000 or $4,000 to put into a Rialta. It's kind of a good trial and error generator to use. So please keep that in mind. But one of the first things I wanted to do was to actually take the panel off, and I'd just taken the screws off. Now, one of the things that I would like to see is, or I'm going to do, and one of the main reasons I'm videoing this as well so I can remember, is I want to label some of these Ziploc bags as I take these screws out so I know where they are. In this case, these are the panel screws. And there's 4 of them, and just put a label on the Ziploc bag, and put the 4 screws in there, and go from there. We'll keep moving on. Actually, I take that back. There's 6 screws. I just saw 2 more. And it looks like you would need to take this little piece off here. Some dirt in there. Like it's got a screw inside. Once you screw that out, it's got a little screw. We'll just put all that together. And that's when we open up and we see all of our power, which this is promising to be one of the things I was wanting to do. This is my son, Sean. Say hi, Sean.
Hi.
You're on YouTube. These are the 3 power sources that are coming out of the generator and into your plug systems, which these are the ones that they're going to be using. And these 3 will plug up directly to the wires that are in the Rialta. So we obviously don't need this plug or need any of these plugs anymore, and we can disconnect those. Now, what we will also want to do is figure out how we can, obviously this is a relay. This is your start-stop. This is your throttle. This is really kind of just a lower throttle. This is your panel. So we've got to figure out how we can rewire this so we can get our panel display coming from our engine. And then of course we'll get rid of all this. This 12 volt max plug. That's not even necessarily needed anymore because that's coming from the battery, and not necessarily something we want to keep as well. But it is good to know and to have here. So that's pretty much the panel and how everything is set up and running. Well, it's hot. If you don't know, I'm in Houston, Texas, and it's hot. That's simple. So I'm drinking, having fun, tearing up a generator. Well, all right, so we have now got all of the outside panels off, and one of the things that I wanted to try and wanted to test out on this particular Predator is how much of this sound dampening is actually in the outside panels. Since I don't have the battery hooked up to it, I have to crank start it, which it is pretty easy to crank start. Actually, not bad at all. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to see about this situation is, you know, when you're looking at this engine and everything about it, all of your electrical components and everything that you need to work on is on this side. It's just fine. Actually, the length of the engine is roughly here. But the problem is, and this is where we're going to have to figure this out, is the oil drip to change the oil is right here. Now, normally that wouldn't be a problem, but in this case it's going to be a huge problem because we have to be able to get to it when it's in this situation, and you want to be able to change the oil out and make sure that you're doing it really well. One thing I did learn about this generator is as you turn to stop, it turns a little switch in here. You can hear the click, and that turns the switch on. So actually I'll show you how that works real quick. It's pretty easy. See, it starts. You just turn that switch, there you're off. And so so the only real thing that we have to factor in, to be honest with you, is what do we do with the choke? And that seems like an easy thing to do.
Thanks for watching today, and tune in next time when we start to talk about an automatic choke, hooking it up to the fuel source of the coach, and being able to remotely start it inside the coach. All of this on reNEWn Rialta.